The Lord be with you. Our reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Chapter 1, verses 45 to 51. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, the one about whom the prophets wrote. He is Jesus, son of Joseph, from Nazareth." "From Nazareth," said Nathanael. "Can anything good come from that place?" "Come and see," replied Philip. When Jesus saw Nathanael coming, he said of him, "There is an Israelite who deserves the name, incapable of deceit." "How do you know me?" said Nathanael. "Before Philip came to call you," said Jesus, "I saw you under the fig tree." Nathanael answered, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus replied, "You believe that just because I said, I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." And then he added, "I tell you most solemnly, you will see heaven laid open, and above the Son of Man, the angels of God ascending and descending." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
It is good to reflect about the life of the saint Bartholomew, the apostle of Christ. In Matthew's Gospel, he is known as Bartholomew. In John's Gospel, his name is known as Nathanael. How did he find Jesus? How Jesus is calling him? First of all, Philip, maybe his friend, Nathanael. So Philip went and said about Jesus. He said, "We have found the one whom Moses wrote in the law. Also, the prophets have written." So Philip knew very well about the laws of Moses as well as the prophets, the prophetical books of the Old Testament. So therefore, Philip is giving clearly the message, "We have found the one whom Moses wrote everything in the law and the prophets wrote about him. And he is Jesus, the son of Joseph from Nazareth." Then immediately Nathanael replied, "From Nazareth? Any good thing will come from Nazareth? I don't believe." Because even Nathanael also was a wise man. Also, he was also intellectual person. And surely he was also learning something about the law of Moses as well as the prophets. Maybe he has studied the scriptures, the Old Testament, the prophets and the laws, but he has not found about the coming of Jesus becoming the Son of God from Nazareth. He did not find anything about Nazareth. So that is what he was questioning about, the identity of Jesus, the Son of God, the Messiah, coming from Nazareth. From Nazareth, he said. But what we learn here is God can bring out a person even from a tiny place, unknown place. Sometimes we think that from the good place, good things will come. From the city, so many good things will come. This is our worldly understanding. But in the understanding of God, God can bring something good from nothing, from a tiny place, unknown place. So this is what we find in the lives of the disciples, in the lives of so many followers of Christ. They come from the tiny place, remote place, unknown place. They were not wise, they were not rich, they were simple people, the simple ones. So this is what God calls them, because they listen to God and they carry the message of God with obedience, doing God's will, God's plan. Then coming to Nathanael, then afterwards the Nathanael was coming and Jesus saw him, and Jesus said, "You are the true Israelite, and there is no any cheating, there is no any guile in your heart, so you are pure." So Jesus was appreciating about the life of Nathanael. Then he was surprised. "I have never seen you. How can you say that I am such a person?" Then Jesus said immediately, "I saw you before Philip called you, and I saw you under a fig tree." What does it mean by and he was there under the fig tree? Those days, most probably, people those who were under the fig tree means they were having the teachings under the guidance of Rabbi. Maybe Jesus might have seen him. He was under the guidance of Rabbi who was teaching under the fig tree. So that is what he said, "I saw you under the fig tree." So therefore Nathanael was what kind of person? He was a wise person, he was a learned man. That is what Jesus has appreciated. Also his heart was without any deceit. There was no guile in his heart, pure heart. Then later on, immediately Nathanael said, "You are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. And you are the one who is supposed to come." So this is the confession of Nathanael. Then finally he followed Jesus. Then how did he follow Jesus? He followed completely. After the Pentecost, he went to Arabia, India, also Armenia, where he was martyred by the persecutors. So once we receive the Spirit of Christ, once we follow Jesus, we dedicate our life. In the case of all the apostles and Bartholomew, they dedicated their life completely once they knew Jesus, once they followed Jesus. We have also following Jesus by baptism, by confirmation, and we are also following till today. So how much do we dedicate our life for Christ? How much we bring people to Christ? Like Philip went back and told to his friend or unknown person, Nathanael, "We have found the one, we have found the Messiah." Like Andrew said to Andrew said to his brother Peter, "We have found the Messiah, come and see." So in the gospel, Philip is telling, "We have found the one whom Moses has written and the law, the prophets have written. Come and see." So this is what our responsibility, our duty, to go out, tell the people about Jesus and bring people to Jesus. Sometimes, how is our spirituality? From home to the church, church to the home. So this is what we sometimes practice our spirituality. So like 50 years or 70 years or 80 years, we have been practicing our spiritual life. We are following Jesus. How many people we have brought to Christ? How do we carry out the message of Jesus? How do we follow Jesus? So today's feast is inviting us to commit more. May the good Lord bless us and increase our faith more and more, that we may constantly follow Jesus and carry his message to the unknown people and bring people to Christ. Amen.